Time now for the front page. This is a news digest since yesterday's broadcast. And while we were sleeping, here's the latest news. 12 more hostages have been released by Hamas and are free in Gaza. This, according to USA Today. The process of transferring a fifth group of Hamas held hostages to the Red Cross en route to freedom began today as the 2 day extension of an uneasy truce played out in the war battered Gaza Strip. A short time ago, the representatives of the Red Cross transferred 12 abductees to Egypt. This, according to the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force. 10 of the freed hostages are Israeli, 9 women and a 17-year-old girl. The other 2 are Thai. In other words, they're from Thailand. The statement said the convoy was headed from Egypt toward Kerem Shalom, a kibbutz along Israel's border. Security officials will verify the identity of the returning hostages and update the families. About an hour after the Israeli announcement, 30 Palestinian prisoners were then released. The U.S. government has warned Israel to curb collateral damage when the war continues. This from USA Today. Israel must work to avoid significant further displacement of Palestinian citizens in southern Gaza if it renews its ground campaign aimed at eradicating Hamas. This, according to a senior U.S. official. The administration seeking to avoid more large scale civilian casualties or mass displacement underscored to the Israelis that they must operate with greater precision in southern Gaza than they did in the north, said the officials, briefing reporters on the condition of anonymity under ground rules set by the White House. For the rest of the world's part, the G7 foreign ministers are urging the release of all hostages. This from USA Today. The G7 foreign ministers of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Britain, and the United States, in addition to the High Representative of the European Union, are calling for the unconditional release of all hostages held by Hamas and the facilitated departure of foreign nationals from Gaza. This, according to a statement released by the United States State Department. This happened today. The G7 added that if it supports the further extension of the current pause in fighting, that if it remains committed to a two-state solution for both Israelis and Palestinians to live in a just, lasting, and secure peace. Elsewhere internationally, there is a new respiratory virus that is ravaging Beijing and northern China. This from CNN. Hospitals in northern China and Beijing have reported a surge in the number of children with respiratory illnesses, including pneumonia. Last week, the World Health Organization asked China to provide more information on the cases. In the meantime, other governments and hospitals can bolster their own infrastructure. They should be on the lookout for a rise in influenza like illnesses and pneumonia cases and test promptly. They should also ensure that they have the capacity to treat patients who need hospital care. It's very possible that other areas, especially those with previously strict virus mitigation measures, will see a rise in respiratory illnesses this winter. Health systems need to prepare for a potential influx of patients, very much like they did during the peak of COVID 19. Congress, by the way, has called on Congress has been called on to stop CCP biotech companies from collecting U.S. DNA. This from Fox News. More than a dozen conservative groups are calling for an amendment to the National Defense Appropriations Act to stop the U.S. government contracts with a Chinese Communist Party linked biotech firm, that is China's Beijing Genomics Institute, the BGI. Representative Mike Gallagher, the chairman of the House Select Committee on the CCP, told Fox News that BGI collects genetic data on people all over the world, to include that of pregnant women, and uses it for research for the Chinese military. The CCP will undoubtedly use the genetic data collected by BGI to further its malign aggression, potentially even to develop a bioweapon used to target the American people. That is a quote from Representative Mike Gallagher. The good news is that Congress can do something about it. U.S. military checks in with sad news today. A V 22 Osprey has crashed off the Japan western coast. This from Fox News. A U.S. military V 22 Osprey aircraft with 6 people aboard crashed off the coast of western Japan. This happened today, according to a report from the Associated Press. The Japanese Coast Guard said the crash site is off Yukishima Island, and patrol boats and aircraft have been deployed to the location for search and rescue efforts. At least one person was killed in the crash, according to Coast Guard officials. Gray-colored debris believed to belong to the Osprey were located by the Japanese Coast Guard about 0.6 miles off the coast of the island, according to the AP. The report initially said 8 people were on board. Fox News has reached out to Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa, Yokota Air Force Base in western Tokyo, and the U.S. Forces Japan Public Affairs Office and the Japanese Coast Guard. For more information, should they come up with that, we will report it here on the Wells Report. 2024 election news now. The Obamacare debate has returned for the upcoming election. This from USA Today. The 2024 presidential debates are months away, but President Joe Biden and ex-President Donald Trump are already engaging in general election-style disputes, starting with a long-standing issue, government health care. Biden and his reelection campaign officials are zeroing in on the former president after he said over the weekend he's considering alternatives to President Barack Obama's signature health care bill, which Trump claims drives up costs. President Trump has yet to offer a specific plan, but he has backed proposals that would terminate health care insurance for millions of Americans, according to President Biden and his supporters. The quote from President Trump was, "The cost of Obamacare is out of control. Plus, it's not good health care. I'm seriously looking at alternatives," unquote. CNN reports that Nikki Haley is going to be lavishly funded, and hopefully that funding will carry the hopes of the influential network funded by billionaire Charles Koch and top industrial and corporate donors who think Donald Trump is a risk to be elected next November. Their bet is the former South Carolina governor can succeed where busted 2016 $100 million frontrunner Jeb Bush, Democrat nominee Hillary Clinton, 2 impeachments, old school Republicans like Mitt Romney, millions splashed by the Club for Growth, and the Lincoln Project and allied groups, a 2020 election defeat, a pliant House GOP majority, and several special counsels failed. They're hoping that this funding will be able to propel Nikki Haley to the nomination and then the presidency, in spite of the fact that it has not worked up to this point. President Trump, for his part, has received a very interesting endorsement, that specifically from Black Lives Matter. A BLM leader threw his support behind President Trump in the 2024 race for the White House, accusing Democrats of racist policies that are working against the Black community. Mark Fisher, who is the co-founder of Black Lives Matter Rhode Island, joined Fox and Friends to discuss why some Black voters are leaving the Democrat Party as they contemplate who they will vote for in the 2024 presidential election. It is the duplicity of the Democrats, the hypocrisy, Fisher told Lawrence Jones on yesterday. We're not stupid. The brothers are not stupid. We understand when someone's for us and when someone's not. And it's obvious. The Democrat Party is not for us. Elsewhere in politics, Hunter Biden has offered to testify before the House Oversight Committee, and then the chairman, James Comer, decided that what he would do is refuse that. The Republican-led House Oversight Committee rebuffed an offer by Hunter Biden to testify publicly in response to a subpoena for a closed-door deposition, this being reported by Bloomberg. Biden's attorney Abby Lowell yesterday told House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer that his client would testify at a public hearing on December 13th, the date the panel has subpoenaed him to testify in private, or another day that month. Comer said that Biden was trying to play by his own rules. The panel expects full cooperation with the subpoena for a deposition and then plans a public testimony with Hunter Biden at a later date. And that is the front page.